Hey guys, today what we're doing, I'm going to show you how to tell stories with your photos. So what we're going to do today is talk about, let's say, a memorial. In my hometown here in Kahuna, most of the streets in most small towns are named after people who have been here for generations and generations. My street is Curvins Road here in Kahuna, and I can tell you now the Curvins name, there's a lot of them around. Well, there's quite a few of them around anyway, and some of those people have served in World War I, World War II and so forth. So what we're going to do today is give you a scenario of you going on a trip back to your hometown and someone from your family has served in the military, and you're going to take a photo of the memorial plaque and their name on the memorial plaque. It's one of my favorite ways to tell stories with photos. Start big, get a little bit narrower and nice and tight at the end. Helping us today is Movo, and they've sent me 3 lenses, and we're going to try those 3 lenses on an old iPhone, an iPhone X I think I'm going to use, and we'll see just how good these lenses are to help us tell the story of Curvins. Before we go to location, I'll show you the technique that I'm talking about. Now keep in mind, it doesn't need to be about a memorial or anything like that. This can apply to anything. This can apply to a food that you've eaten, a meal that you've had in a certain restaurant when you've been on a trip. You take the same sort of sequence of photos and you'll understand what I mean once we start getting into this. Let's have a look at these lenses before we get there. This one here is the super fisheye lens. This one here has a range of view, a field of view of nearly 240 degrees. It's pretty bloody impressive. For some reason, everything comes white box these days. All the different IT companies make things white. So the lens itself, these things are built Tonka tough. This is a metal lens. It's metal construction, metal case, rubber case on the back here, cover on the back here, I should say, and that will screw directly into this clip that will go straight onto your phone. So I'll just screw that onto there. This is the iPhone X. It's the camera camera with just the one lens, which is why we're using these multi field of view lenses. Take the metal cap off there, and the way that I will clip this on to the phone, I'll look through this lens onto this lens, and once it's in the center there, that's exactly how it's going to be when I want to use this particular lens. Let's have a look at the other ones. This is the telephoto lens. This is a 3x zoom lens, boxed exactly the same way. Same sort of construction, metal construction as well, and they're built basically the same. And to be honest, they're pretty Tonka tough. You could throw this and I don't think you'd hurt it. We'll have a look at that when we get out to the field. The last one here is the wide angle lens. It's an 18mm wide angle lens, and it says the best camera lens. Well, we'll see. When we test it out, we'll see. Now this one has a case. So it's like a rubberized sort of reasonably firm sort of a case. Inside here we've got the lens, another clip just like we had before. This one here, it looks a little bit bigger. Take that off. It's even got some like lens hood around it, you can see there. And this is 18mm. So this is going to be not as wide as the fisheye, and nowhere near as narrow as the actual lens on the camera. So this will give us a little bit wider than what the actual lens does. What else is in here? Is a lens cleaning cloth. What's that? You guys know I'm going to throw this, don't you? Because it's like instructions or something. And it's like let us know what you think of it. So this one here, same sort of deal. Clip off the back, or the dust cover off the back there, and you screw the clip on to the lens and you mount it onto the phone exactly the same way. Look through that lens onto your camera lens, and there it is. It's good to go. So let's go out to the memorial park in town. It's a pretty new one, and we'll have a look and we'll take some photos. This is a pretty new memorial park, if you like, a remembrance park for us in our hometown here, and obviously me being an ex-serviceman, this sort of thing is really important to me. The first photo I want to get is the photo that's going to establish what the area is. So I'm going to use the fisheye lens here, and we'll see what we can do with it. There's a few things with the fisheye that you've got to keep in mind. One is that it distorts the image really, really badly. So you'll make sure you've got leading lines like we've got going on here. You don't want to have them like that in the frame because it'll be obvious. So we want to move it off to the edge there so it's not as obvious with that leading line. With that line, it's going to curve around. I'm going to touch on one of those monuments there, memorial stones, and take the photo right there. If I go too low, you'll see it flexes up. If I go too high, it flexes down. You want it somewhere in the middle there. You're ruining some of that composition rule, but we're using the maximum field of view that we can get from the fisheye. Now the second image that we want to get is the image of the whole frame. So we started off with the entire park, entire memorial park, and this time I want to get a photo of just the frame of that where this name is on the board. And the third photo will be just that name, and we'll try and get a little bit of the park as well, maybe that statue over there in the photo. But for this photo we want to get a photo of the whole board with the name present in the photo. So what we'll do, we'll use the wide angle lens and use the whole frame. The name is down the bottom there, that's the one I want. So open up the camera. When I clip this onto the camera, when I clip this Movo lens onto the camera, I looked at it through the lens, and you can see the lens through the lens, if that makes sense. And get a little bit closer, this way we can make out all the names. Touch on there for focus. Hit the shutter button, that's good. If I take this off now, you'll see I'm actually missing a lot of the names. So this wide angle lens comes in very handy for what I'm trying to get here. Third photo is to get just the name with maybe something in the park as well. And that'll help tell the story of 1, this is what the park looks like, 2, this is where the name is, and 3, this is the name. I'm going to use the telephoto lens from Movo. I'm going to get down here, set it up so that it's nice and to that I'm looking for. In this case it's curving, and I'm going to use the lens compression and take the photo there. You'll see using that extra length in the telephoto lens, I'm going to get more of a depth of field. Now it doesn't have to be the memorial that we're talking about here. It doesn't have to be a name. You may have gone to a restaurant, had a good meal. You would take the same principles that I've shown you here today. Take your wide angle shot of, say, the street with the restaurant in it, and then take another photo of just the restaurant, and then another photo of the meal that you've had, and tell the story of this is where it is in the town, this is what it looks like, and this is what I had there. It can be a car. This is the car, and what you like about the car is maybe the hood ornament or something like that, a Jaguar or something like that. And you take a photo of the car, take a photo of the front of the car, take a photo of the hood ornament. So you're starting big, getting small, getting the finer details, tells a better story. That's it for today, guys. I'll catch you next week. See you later.